is a presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Hey, Robert, how you doing, man?
Yes, and thank you for taking my call. I wanted to let you know that I've been a subscriber for a couple of years, just different members of your team, and I really enjoy it. But really the reason I'm calling is to express my sincerest gratitude for you providing that information yesterday on the small business grant. I'm a small business owner and primary breadwinner for my family, and if I can get that money, it's going to really mean a lot to my family. So
that's awesome.
Thank you for taking the time to do that.
No, well, listen, man, we appreciate you growling and prowling with us.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN just after 3 p.m. Thanks so much for tuning in. Friday afternoon, final hour of the trading week, and we got markets right now. S&P's barely holding on to green territory. We hit a nice round number just after noon Eastern time, 6,800 for the first time ever in S&P futures. That's our high right now. We're off those levels, but still positive by 3 points at 67.69. You see the volume we got, acceleration. Kicked off at about 1 o'clock. 145, you drive down to the lows. NASDAQ 100, all-time highs this morning. We trade lower intraday. Right now, just above 25,000. NASDAQ 100 off by 0.4% or 102 points in the red. Hanging on to that 25,000 mark. Dow up by 0.6%. The Russell right now up by 0.7% or 18 points in the positive. Bitcoin almost to all-time highs today as well. It's across the board, right? And then you jump over to gold. Gold up by $43. We might see all-time highs in gold by the time I'm off the air at 4 o'clock. Gold up by $43 or 1.2%. Silver, how about silver up by 3.5%, up $1.60. We hit a high of 48.32. That's a new recent high for silver as well. And it's in the context of having a little bit of dollar weakness. You look where you were yesterday, all the way up to 98.10. You backed off a bit. We've backed off a bit further. We're down by 11 pennies to 97.27. You take a look at the dollar on a daily. Just keep pushing lower levels. We hit 96.21 on Fed Day. And the shutdown does not stop the Fed. The Fed, 3 weeks back. 3 weeks from this coming Wednesday, the Fed meets. Man, that's a quick 6 weeks, right? And yeah, that's 5 days from right now. So 3 weeks from 5 days right now, or 4 weeks from 2 days ago. But the Fed, they meet October 29th. We got the dollar at 97.72 right now. And that dollar weakness is even in the context of a little bit of higher yield. 4.12, lower price, higher yield on the 10-year. We jump over the VIX. I was talking to our man Tim Ward yesterday. We were talking about, he follows the SPY VIX, SPY VIX ratio. And yeah, we have a little bit of an elevated VIX. Nothing out of the ordinary. But take a look at this VIX. Okay? Look how many times we've been lower on this VIX. And then keep in mind that we just touched all-time highs across the board. S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, gold, silver, and we're right there on Bitcoin. And meanwhile, just to show you where we are on this chart, you're talking about an area right now that you have to respect, that we're in an elevated VIX compared to where we've been. You go back to where we've been from July 22nd to really until late September. Almost a period of 2 months, you were well below this area, right? Where you chopped around to a 14 handle, in between 15 and 16. Maybe you got above there. The VIX has been rising as this market is just relentlessly strong, up to 6,800 from 48.32. Almost 2,000 points in less than 6 months currently. NASDAQ 100. Talking about 8,700 plus points on this run. And a gain of 53.07%. on the NASDAQ 100. All right, let's take a look at the volume and some of the action of some of the drivers. Take a look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA breaks to all-time highs yesterday. It's talking about, this volume's been strong on NVIDIA. We can take that line off because there was some declining volume, but we've been in a consolidation in NVIDIA now, pushing this 180 level for 2 solid months. And we're possibly breaking above that. You trade higher to 187.35. We did that on Tuesday. You do it with 237 million shares almost. Didn't quite have the volume at the 191 though. We'll see how the volume comes in today. Let's mention Apple gets a downgrade from Jefferies. They shake that off in a matter of minutes this morning. We'll see how the final hour goes. Apple's got some good volume going in. We get 36 million shares already. You're going to get some volume on the close. Yesterday we did 42. Yeah, but we're really coming into this bar of September 22nd. Look at these 2 bars that we're getting above on lighter volume here. All right, let's take a look at Shopify for a question one of our tigers in the den. And what's remarkable is, so we use Shopify TFNN, folks. It's a great platform. There's your monthly. Becomes a pandemic darling with everyone shopping online. $176. And I'm going to look at the weekly and the daily in a moment. But if you look at the monthly, right? And what did happen was this was a darling, right? All the attention, right? Look at this volume. 870 million shares in the month of April of 2020. 831, 554, and 671. Well, we just had a nice acceleration in May of 350 million shares, but it's not doing even close. And then you look at where we got to this point last time. When you accelerated up here, in February of 2021, 308 million shares that monthly. You make it back up here in June of 2021, 320 million shares. Now, we have 4 years of breathing in this equity. But even if you look at the highs of November of 2021, before you really fell out of bed, talk about it in magnificent fashion, right? 226 million shares. This is a monthly again. 226 million shares, right? We did 186 million and 142 million last month, breaking the highs. Now we'll see how it comes in this month. And we go down to the daily. And yeah, you're looking at this day out here from their earnings. It's a strong buy on that day on the 29th, but you're not going to get above that day on volume. You're not. And on a bigger picture, Shopify is a great platform, longer term. You just trade it from 23 to 160 and you're coming into the highs and you have a little bit lighter volume. So short term, yeah, I'd be careful at these price levels. You need a little bit more volume to break through this area. 4 years, $23 to 161. All right, folks, S&P's up by 4. NASDAQ in the red. We'll come right back.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Welcome back, folks. S&P's up by 2, NASDAQ 100, barely in the red, barely 108 points, feels like it with the price levels. We're still at 25,000 in the NASDAQ 100. Dow up 0.6%, and the Russell leading the way up by 0.7%. We jump around to the heat map. Yeah, Micron, one of the winners today, up by 2.2% right now. Healthcare trading higher. Intuitive Surgical, 2.6%. There's your Shopify acceleration, up by 6.7% for Shopify. In the red, some of the chip stocks. AMD down by 2.8%. Texas Instruments down by 1%. AMAT off 2.2%. KLAC off 2.5%. Google and Meta off 1.8% right now. Yeah, Palantir as well. Let's check out Palantir. Whew. Yeah, so there's an Army memo. Let's see if I can get this exactly. The Army flags security concerns in the Palantir Anduril battlefield comm system. High-risk battlefield tech. Facing scrutiny after an internal U.S. Army memo flagged fundamental security flaws in the modernization of the battlefield communications network they're helping to build. Now, they responded, Palantir did, and says the reported issues with Anduril's NGC2 system were resolved and no platform vulnerabilities have been found. Pull this over. Well, it seems like the market doesn't believe him just yet, right, folks? Look at this. You're down by 6.5% right now. We just hit lows 170. We're back to 175. The report centered on a September Army memo expressing concerns over the prototype system. NGC2 stands for Next Generation Command and Control. Palantir and Microsoft quite the reaction when you're down 6.5%. And they shake it off like it's nothing, and maybe it is nothing. But just points to the extreme volatility you've seen in this equity as well as many others. We jump over to one of the others high flyers, Robinhood, continuing the run. Crypto higher, Robinhood higher. We hit a high of $150.21. Now this company, $132 billion company, $132 billion company, Robinhood. Look at the volume in Robinhood. That's encouraging, right? You know, you look at Shop, not so much. Last month, though, a little bit lighter as we broke above. September volume, 1.04 billion, coming into 1.16. But overall, just relentless volume to the upside since the lows of April. And yeah, crypto's here. Crypto's real. It's not going away. Tokenization of everything. And prediction markets, gambling, right? It's all here, folks. And Robinhood is a participant across the board. And they should tokenize everything. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to trade stocks 24/7. Think about this, right? Absolutely no reason. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to trade Apple shares Sunday at 9 o'clock in the morning if you feel like it. And that was what tokenization would allow instantly. And speaking of Vegas, I talked about this one this morning, but I was digging into it even further. I was even looking up Sphere tickets. And I don't have any trips planned just yet. Life's a little busy, but boy, that's Sphere. And just out of curiosity, I was pulling up what Sphere tickets are running right now in Vegas. Not bad. $400 to see the Eagles tonight at 8:30 in Vegas at the Sphere. Now I say not bad. That's an experience like none other. Let's see what the best seats are running. Now, I would think that those are not the good seats, though. Usually you don't want to, usually you can be up on stage, but if something like the Sphere, I think you want to be a little bit back. And I don't know, maybe if we got Tigers or Tigresses that have been to that Sphere in Vegas, let me know. But speaking of new restaurants, the Venetian, I was talking about this one this morning, Cody. So this is part of a $1.5 billion renovation in the Venetian. This restaurant was in the Barneys in the Venetian. The Venetian has an outstanding poker room, by the way. If you're into poker, folks, and you're in the Vegas area, Venetian's got a great room, a great poker room. They just redid the poker room as well. It's part of this renovation going on. And they spent $35 million, 200-plus seats. And imagine how they're merging entertainment, right? So they have almost like boxes. Yeah, private dining rooms, okay? Hearts, clubs, diamonds, each 8 to 10 guests. The Spades one, 14 seats. Karaoke machine, its own balcony. You get a balcony within the restaurant. I mean, imagine if you just went into town, even into Tampa, and they have restaurants, and you get your own balcony. But they're a sweet and a fun way to socialize. Now, this restaurant's not even open in Vegas. And they have already rented it out for private affairs to get down. AWS in particular. And yeah, there's no Korean food on the Strip. When K-pop visited in 2022, they had to travel off-Strip. And that's what got me going. The restaurant's close to the Sphere and the Las Vegas Convention Center. Even before the place opened, it was getting booked out for Amazon's upcoming AWS reInvent conference in early December. A bank booked it out for 5 straight nights. Yeah, I'm used to amounts in tens of thousands of dollars for bookings. This was a whole different set of numbers. I imagine to book out a brand new restaurant that they just spent $35 million to renovate for 5 straight nights is quite a pretty penny in the Venetian in beautiful Las Vegas. But that hotel's a nice one, and I look forward to getting back. And not for the gambling. Not for the gambling. Hey, you have a little fun at the gambling. That's great. It's an expense of the evening. But anything that you're spending in terms of money at that table when it's a negative expectation game. You play poker, that's a different story. Now, yeah, I'm biased. I played some poker, but you can have a positive expectation playing poker. But yeah, the Eagles, how about it, right? Pretty sweet baseball. I got to make it out there for sure. All right, folks, S&P's hanging on the gains. We're up by 3 points. NASDAQ negative by 100. Dow up by almost 300 points. We had records across the board. We'll come right back, folks. Don't go away.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Tom O'Brien Show is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
welcome back, folks. And very little volatility we've had in the last 45 minutes or so. We're sitting here at 67.68. And as you can see, you put it on a 15-minute. We're just sitting right in a few points right now. Volume trailing off right now from what we had going on at the lows of the market at about 2 p.m. Eastern time. Let me jump around to some other equities. Tesla shares. So they put up some pretty solid delivery numbers yesterday, and the market says we're selling the news. We bought the rumor. We knew the deliveries were coming in. I mean, imagine, folks. Sometimes it's just not that complicated sometimes. Don't overthink things, right? They rallied this stock all the way up until the end of the federal credits. And then they beat on deliveries, and they pulled it back. Doesn't mean you have to rip lower. But the road, no pun intended, forward, it's going to be difficult for EVs when there's going to be a period of time where buyers are just going to be abrasive to the fact that they're going to feel like fools if they buy a vehicle right now because they should have bought it in September when they would have gotten a credit of $7,500. Now, speaking of the casinos, so they got typhoon problems in Macau, and I was listening to Bloomberg earlier at one point, and yeah, they're worried. Let's see if I can get a good one. They're worried that they got a typhoon coming, and unfortunately that's going to disrupt things. And it may even happen during a golden week. Yeah, Golden Week, a national holiday when domestic travel usually spikes. And there was only a 1.8% increase in total volume for domestic travel, which could be below expectations. Let's take a look at this thing, speaking of gambling. Look at this, right? Who would have thought that? The Wynn stock is break even for almost 20 years. Whew. Let's see how this channel. All right. See if we can break above that line. You know, if that line didn't exist, though, this thing had been in a downtrend. And this break we just got with Asia coming alive, that's a decisive break. Would have been nice to see a little bit more volume, though. Yeah, maybe you come back and you wait for a test. Wouldn't have been nice. Look at the volume that we had, right? Look at the volume we've had at these lows, and then all of a sudden, in June, you go from $82 up to $130, and meanwhile, we're not comparing with the volume on a monthly. Let's take it on a weekly. Well, that was a nice acceleration the week of August 25th. You push up to 128.53. Yeah, you get above there a couple weeks ago. You're going to have some volume this week. We're at 9 million already. We did 10 million a couple weeks ago. Speaking of gambling, we take a look at DraftKings. So these equities, you talk about disruption. Do they even need to exist if we have prediction markets? Right? That's what investors are asking themselves this week. You drive lower on some of these prediction market numbers in terms of just eating into the gambling ecosystem. $17.5 billion company. Boy, that's going to be quite a reversal on volume for DraftKings. That's your monthly. That's as far back as you go. Boy, and you know what's going to be tough on this chart is we have an acceleration last month with volume to the downside. Okay, you get a pickup in volume. Most volume we've done since May. You pull back from $48 down to $37. And we've already started off with massive volume on the first few days of the month. You know, look at how we were doing no volume. Now, of course, you add that 30th in there, which was 45 million shares on a weekly basis. It's probably a good thing we're not breaking through all these lows on that number, because if you broke through all of those lows on that volume, then you're heading back to the, my goodness, $10. Yeah, I mean, we've already done 83 million shares this month. That doesn't count the September 30th day when you did 40 million. 83 million shares this month. And we've got 20 trading days when we come back. All right. Keep your eye on those, folks. Because competition was stiff enough in these gambling stocks. Going back in the days when I would talk to Kevin Hanks, I remember some great conversation with Kevin talking about these equities in particular and how they're great, but the competition, right, for customers, for margins, is fierce in that game. The spending money to acquire those customers, and it just gets more and more difficult when you have prediction markets like Kalshi, Robinhood, all coming into that. And, you know, the one part of that sector with gambling like that is in live gambling. And I wonder how that's going to play out into prediction markets. If prediction markets are going to get as good at in-live gambling. You know, you're following a football game. You can bet on almost every single play. Is there going to be a pass? And I guess prediction markets could turn it into the same way. So why not? Why do you got to do one or the other? It's another huge competitor on the block. And guess what? DraftKings is a $17 billion company. What did I say Robinhood's pushing now? Yeah, $132 billion company. And they're coming for him. S&Ps just hanging around in positive territory. Up by 5. 67.72. NASDAQ off by 95. Dow up by almost 300. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
Welcome back, folks. Markets climbing a few points higher, 67.75 right now. S&P's up by 8, NASDAQ off by 87. We take a look at the Dow right now. A lot of green in the Dow. Amazon, Nvidia, Nike, Honeywell, Boeing, Cisco, the only stocks in the red right now in the Dow. And some of the stocks pushing it higher. UNH up by 1.6%. Goldman up 1.4% right now. Caterpillar up by 2%. Right? Those stocks alone, $360, $790, and $500. Huge. Johnson & Johnson up 1.5%. Verizon, basically a meaningless stock in the Dow, and I only say that as in it's $43 stock, and Goldman's an $800 stock, and they're not that far off from the same size of the company. Sherwin-Williams, $347, up by 1%. Let's take a look at Sherwin-Williams. Painting this market green. This thing's been topping out right where we were in 2021. You pull back to 200, we hit 400, you double in price. You do it on some high volume. You pull back on lighter volume. Even that nice August acceleration, right? You trade higher with 41.6 million shares. You back off on 38 million shares. It's going to be a big number to break above $400 with all that volume on Sherwin-Williams. And they're facing some problems right now. Jump over the home builders. We go back to a weekly, but they're higher today. So Lennar rips lower on their earnings the week of September 15th. Let's take a look at the dailies. Jeez. Okay, that's not encouraging, folks. Look at this volume, just on a daily, right? You hit a low of $121. We're up $9 since then. And every single day, almost, the volume's lighter. We got a little bit of an uptick. Every single day we go higher and the volume's lighter. Filling this gap out here from September 18th going into their earnings day. So that's Lennar. Let's check out D.R. Horton. Yeah, some big volume, of course, that week. The same thing for them, right? Look at the volume. Yeah, so it's always this options expiration. You do 4 million shares on the close on September 19th, okay? 4 million shares. The whole day you did 8 million. Everything had massive volume at that options expiration. And then you get a day lower with volume. And since then, we've had some light volume numbers. A little bit of an uptick October 1st. We only have 15 minutes left to go in the trading day. We've done 1.5 million. The last couple days, you did 1.9 and 2.1. We'll see if we get some volume in the close. There's your 5-year weekly. This pullback, it's just a 618 pullback, which is remarkable. The lows of 2022, everyone was worried about housing. Then you figured out, no, in fact, the home builders are doing fine. They're the only game in town. They're selling plenty of houses right now because nobody else can sell their house because rates are so high that they don't want to give up their mortgage. We jump over to yields. So taking a look at the 10-year right now. That's your weekly. Let's take a look at the daily. So 4.12% right now. That spike high was on Fed Day. On that same day, we had the dollar spike to 96.21, September 17th. And the pressure's on the dollar, folks, to the downside still. We got quite a nice acceleration, but that was an issue of buying the rumor, sell the news, as in, of course, the dollar was under pressure to the downside. The Fed was going to cut. The whole market knew it. The Fed cut, and you got a reprieve. But I feel like the same thing is going to be pressuring this market coming into October 29th. The dollar's going to be under pressure. You're going to get the market realizing that a cut is coming. And each time a cut materializes, there is, the market's pricing in the cuts right now, but they're not 100%. And I always say, the CME Fed Watch tool, this is not the Holy Grail, okay, as in the bylaws of expected. Because this thing's been so wrong so many times, folks, but it just gives you an idea of where the market's positioned right now. But when I look at this, I know that investors, they also realize these numbers can be violently wrong, especially when they get something wild at 98, 100%. Sometimes they've been at 99.9% and they're wrong. Well, the next meeting, though, 95% chance that we're going to get a cut, folks. Okay? Right now we're at 4 to 4.25%. Market thinks that 26 days from right now, we're going to be at 3.75 to 4. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, actually 96.7% chance. And you go to December, and we're talking 85% chance of 2 cuts. So if you have an 85% probability of a 50 basis point cut, right, then that would mean that 15% chance that's not materialized yet, if we do get those cuts, represents about 7.5 basis points. Okay? Now this is only on the 2-year though. And that's the kicker. Right? So if we get those 2 cuts, even on a 2-year, you could see higher price and lower yield. And that's where the pressure is. Check back in on gold. 39.12. Let's jump over to silver. $48. Yeah, copper cut a nice bid this week. All right, look at this. It's doing it on volume too. Copper's making a run, man. That's the most volume we've had. Yeah. Copper looks strong right now. This thing, look at this weekly. So what we do, 211,000 contracts last week. And what are we going to be at? Let's see, 50, 90, 120, 155, 195. So we might get it. we're going to be at around 200,000. So imagine this week's going to come in around 200,000 contracts. You get wide price expansion. Copper looks strong right now. Yeah, FCX has problems. They have a mine that has massive problems. The Glasberg mine, I believe it is. Oh, we're in breaks. Sorry, folks. We'll be right back.
The opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. The other data point we got, services gauge. Weakest business activity since 2020. Stalled in September as business activity shrank for the first time since the pandemic and orders barely expanded. That's the ISM index of services dropped to 50. Stagnation, with the business activity index falling into contraction territory for the first time since May of 2020. 10 of those industries reported growth. 7 industries contracted, with employment continuing to be in contraction territory due to delayed hiring efforts and difficulty finding qualified staff. And there's your services index. At 50, business activity index, 49.9. Soft orders and business activity coincided. You know, when Chairman Powell was talking, if you were listening to that press conference, there was a line there where he said, you know, people are overestimating the risks of runaway inflation because of the weakness that we're seeing in this economy. And he said it's more than what's in the payrolls, right? It's not just that they're seeing that 22,000 jobs added on a monthly basis, the payroll revisions, and they see more data than you and I. And it's partly on these types of data points, which is that they see a real risk to the jobs. And one of the reasons why they don't see a risk to inflation is because of the weakness in the economy. And of course, you can get inflation as you get a shrinking economy. And let's hope that the Fed doesn't have to deal with that one. But nonetheless, some weak numbers on a Jobs Friday where we don't get those jobs, but the market in that last few seconds dips to negative territory. We hit 6,800 for the all-time high this morning. We're off by 2 points, NASDAQ in the red. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in right here with me at TFNN. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there, folks. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. We'll see you back here Monday morning at 9 o'clock. Have a great one, folks. Thank you so much.